All right, everyone, welcome back into another Fantasy Golf video. Going to be breaking down round 4 here of the US Open. Going to be starting out with the Showdown picks. Okay, hopefully we can get into some 3-ball bets and some prop bets as well. Can't guarantee that those are going to be available by the time I get done with the Showdown segment of this video. But again, I can't control that. The video would be posted too late to the point where it's not worth it. We will talk about who I think is going to win the tournament as well. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So right away, I have the Showdown tool pulled up here. So we're sorting by round 4 and we're looking at the Showdown rank. And so one of the most interesting things just right out the bat is the fact that Viktor Hovland is going to be the top Showdown play in round 4. I think that's partially due to where he's currently placed, 4th overall, right? And then also the fact that when he has played well, which is not every single tournament, he typically has played well in the 4th round. You look at Sam Burns, obviously we remember what happened last week. He didn't necessarily play bad, but, obviously probably should have won that one. I am obviously pulling for Sam Burns to win, having him at 80-1. I've been all over him this week. You guys hopefully already know that by now. And if you look at the leaderboard in terms of like predictable golfers, like you got Ben Griffin up there, Henley's right there as well. Keegan's, for round 4 Showdown purposes, he's kind of popping up in there. But in terms of like the top end players that you would expect to be there, it's really Sam Burns. And then you would have thought maybe, you could have had the thought Hovland might show up. He's been someone that's been trending in the right direction, obviously had that win. So I do think that those are going to be the top 2 plays. Now, I made a funny joke on the, what I think is a funny joke on the 9 to 5 Discord. It was the fact that, oh, no duh, like Adam Scott's playing well. Typically speaking, when Adam Scott gets into contention or gets into a spot where you're feeling good about him, he directly hits one into the water. There's no water at Oakmont, so it's kind of a funny, dumb joke there. And then Scotty, you would expect to get going there as well in 11th place. He's someone that we would obviously need to play a little bit better if you're going to be rostering him there as well. And I do want to take a peek at which players are the most likely to win as well as it currently sits. So it is pretty much exactly at the board, or exactly how you would expect the board to go. So Sam Burns 1. Okay, and then you got Adam Scott, JJ Spawn, Viktor Hovland, and then you got Hatton, Scotty, Ben Griffin, Henley, McIntyre. So no real shocks there in terms of the top end golfers in terms of win rank. So in terms of building, some good Showdown lineups, I think it's going to be pretty darn easy. So let's just go ahead and take a quick peek at some of those outright odds that we are getting. So yes, Sam Burns, player that was a day-to-day core play, a player that, again, all over, is down from 80-1 odds to now about 1.7-1 odds. One of the clear kind of easier, I think, outright bets of this. I don't want to say of the season, but of the season, like especially if you were someone that was searching for, a longer shot bet. It's just like, I don't know, it kind of felt like one of those ones you just had to make, right? I listed all of the reasons why. You guys already know that. The biggest question that we have from there, one for Showdown purposes, is whether or not we think he's going to blow up, right? He has the solo lead heading into the final round of the US Open. I personally think he's going to be fine, but this season has been weird where, stuff that has typically played out every single season since I've been, covering fantasy golf, it hasn't exactly played out that way, where a player that is clearly the top player on the top of the board, where you would expect him to win, that hasn't exactly been the case. There's been some weird stuff that has happened this year. And so that is a big question mark. And so the question is, do we want to do any live bets? Okay, so you have Adam Scott at 3-1. You have JJ Spawn at about 3.5-1 on some sites. And then you also have Viktor Hovland at about 6-1. I don't think we expect Carlos Ortiz to have another -3 round. And personally speaking, guys, I'm hoping that he does not as well. I'm currently top 10 in one of the GPPs, and not everyone has Carlos Ortiz ahead of me, but he's the biggest one in terms of like, if he tails off, it's going to be probably, if that just happens and everyone else plays about the same, I think I would finish 3rd at least. And if Russell Henley picks it up, I could potentially win. So I'm excited for the sweat tomorrow. We'll see how that goes. But it's nice to see that he's at 21 odds. So obviously not expected to play all too well. Then you got Hatton, Scotty. And so, yeah, it really just seems it's going to be one of these 4. And maybe you are some that bet Hovland and obviously already bet Sam Burns. In that scenario, I actually wouldn't hate maybe potentially getting to Adam Scott and JJ Spawn. I don't expect Scott to play as well in round 4. I'd probably rather go with Spawn in that regard. But again, I'm probably just not going to do a live bet. I think we just stick with Sam Burns. Hopefully that one ends up hitting. All right, so yeah, let's just go ahead and run this again. And for what it's worth, guys, another good day yesterday as well. but that was really due to 2 lineups coming through. Most of the day it was terrible, and then obviously having Sam Burns later on in the day, I ended up helping out pretty well. And yeah, my best lineups, I had 2 that carried me that put me to a slight profit. It wasn't anything big, but round 2 was good, round 1 was good. We're trying to go 4 for 4 here. I doubt that's going to happen. I talk about this all the time. You guys know this by now. That's not sustainable. Like if we can hit really, I would say 2.5 out of 4 each and every week on average. Like I would sign up for that every single day, or 5 out of 8. I would take that. Okay. We'll see though. Fingers crossed. It's the U.S. Open. We'll see what goes. So yes, we got Sky Scheffler. We're just going to bump up his projection and maybe Hovland 1, whatever. We're just giving the lineup builder 2 data points to go off of. We click generate. This is for you guys to get an idea of what the lineups are looking like, and you guys can choose, what to do from there. So it is getting, pretty chalky here. Bazoon out as the value is what's going with. So what we're seeing here, lineup path wise, what the data is kind of telling us to do is it's mixing the last player in for the most part in terms of lineup construction. Maybe getting to Russell Henley a little bit, but Sam Burns, Victor Hovland, a decent amount. Let's actually take a peek at their exposures as well so you guys can see. So yeah, without changing anything, Scott, Hovland, Burns, Spawn, Hatton. So kind of interesting there. I think I'm mostly fine with this. Again, what I'm going to do personally is 3 unique players, 30% max exposure, and see how that goes. I might though, I don't know. I might set a limit where I am trying to get at least two of Adam Scott, Hovland, Sam Burns, and JJ Spawn in a lineup. But then I would have to bump them up to about 75% max exposure probably. I don't know if I necessarily want to do that. Okay, that's where it becomes kind of interesting. But you guys kind of get the thought process of what the lineups are looking like for round 4. All right, so we are getting some 3-ball bets now. All right, there we go. Slow clap for the books for getting those out while I was recording this video. So we got Hatton versus Carlos Ortiz. Obviously, we do expect Hatton to win. It could be a tie, and it's worth calling that up. But yeah, I like that. That's a solid bet. We'll highlight that one for you guys. Brian Harman versus James Nicklaus. I'm actually fine with that one as well. The payout's not going to be that good. That's kind of the issue with these bets. I don't want to mess with the next one, Tristan Lawrence or Norgard Peterson. I don't want to mess with that. Sanjay M. I just don't like the payout really for those two either. Matt Fitzpatrick. I think we can get to that one. I think we're fine with that one there as well. Sky Scheffler versus Nick Taylor. That's an interesting one. Taylor Pendrith versus Ryan McCormick. I'm okay with that one as well. None of these are great. I would say the best one is obviously that Terrell Hatton versus Carlos Ortiz bet. That's really the best one that we got. But from there, I feel like we're forcing too much. I don't want to go below 50% likelihood when we're factoring in the ties like this. So these are 3-way bets because it's factoring in the tie. And so I don't want to go too lower than that. So I got the 4 highlight that I'm going to be rolling with. Hopefully we can have another good day like we had in round 2. It's the only time I put those out for you guys in video format. So we'll go ahead and jump into some head-to-head bets. All right, so looking at it from there, we got Adam Scott beating Jason Day minus 105 next round. I'm okay with that. Russell Henley beating Brooks Koepka. I did mention that the Brooks Koepka stuff was kind of surprising. He is tailing off a little bit here as you would have expected. So yeah, I'm perfectly fine getting to Russell Henley minus 110. Russell Henley also had kind of a downer round as well. You would expect him to get some things going. He's a golfer that can get hot, so really I think we can just stop there. I like those two a decent amount. But if you want to double dip with Brooks Koepka, betting against Brooks Koepka, so Brooks, you better not show up tomorrow. Siwoo Kim beating Brooks Koepka minus 105 as well. I think that's a solid bet for us to get to there as well. And I do want to sort by the sportsbook edge, seeing if we're getting any plus EV bets that you guys might like. Yeah, Siwoo Kim beating Brooks Koepka is one that we want to get to. Emiliano Grillo or Thomas Dietrich being Emiliano Grillo. I don't need to get to that. So you guys saw the bets I just mentioned. I'm perfectly fine getting to those ones. And so let's go ahead now and get into some underdog bets as we are getting those as well. So very well, worked out well here. So we are getting one really good bet. That's going to be Rory to get under 3.5 birdies or better. I don't know if you guys caught his press conference this time. He basically said F you to the media, which the media is going to try to cover that as like, I get why the media is mad at Rory. They need the clicks. Rory is like LeBron, obviously, for the NBA. If you get access to Rory, you're getting access to clicks. Your job is going to be more influential than. I get all that. Okay, that's huge. Okay. I put out a stupid tweet the other day on my 9to5 Fantasy Golf Twitter account, or X account, just joking around that, if we didn't know any better, it's like seeming like Rory's going to go to live based off of how he's acting, right? Like that's basically everything that's happened. He's past his prime now since he won the Grand Slam, and it's like, all right, now he's done. He basically said F you to the media today. That's how I listened to it and heard it. But he basically said I would have been fine missing the cut, which I don't know if I believe that. Now, there's two takes to this. You guys have probably all seen the clips of Rory thus far where he threw his club, right? And then on the last hole where he needed a birdie to make the cut, he ends up hitting the tee box and breaking it. Now, I look at that a little bit deeper. You know, it's more surface level. He was playing with Shane Lowry, right? Shane Lowry was doing a bunch of dumb stuff. He was being a little, if I will, you know, a little B word, if you will. And I think that rubbed off on Rory. And it's not to give Rory a pass by any means, but when you have a player that's going through it, like Shane Lowry wasn't being a crybaby about it on the golf course, doing stupid stuff. Obviously, those two are friends. I think that just negatively rubbed off on Rory. And so it's just, that's my long way of saying I do like this bet that's popping up here. Okay. But it's just like, I thought it was fun to touch on that in a little bit more detail. Like, where is he at mentally? Can we even trust him again, like for fantasy golf purposes? I don't know. I don't really blame him for what he's feeling, but that's seemingly going to be a good bet. But that's the only good bet that we have currently, guys. That is it. If you want to do Matthew Pavon to get under, you know, his birdies are better of 3.5. That's the next best one that we have. And for the sake of the video, to give you guys a bet of the day for Underdog, I'm going to do that. Now, I do hope that we get some PrizePicks lines here shortly, but we're not going to get that while I'm recording the video. So that is going to do it for this video. If you guys want access to any of the tools that you saw in this video, make sure to head on over to 9to5sports.com. If not, just make sure to leave a like on this video. That does about a bunch. Thank you guys for watching, and let's have Sam Burns win, guys. Let's go, Sam Burns. Russell Henley as well for PJ DFS purposes. Let's get that done. Thanks for watching, and as always, let's keep cashing.